And after it's on live on Facebook, I'll share it with the two of you. Great. Okay. And and YouTube was kind enough to let me know it's going live there. So, welcome to Any Sunday Songwriters. Hold on. Turn on the recording. Thank you. Yeah, because they want you to know that it's on. Welcome to Any Sunday Songwriters. I'm so excited to see you here because it's been a few weeks due to vacations and conferences and whatnot. And I'm extra specially excited about my guest today. On my left, but not necessarily that for you, is Dennis Roger Reed. And we just met just very recently, and I thought he'd be perfect for this particular show. And so welcome, Dennis, and I'm so glad to have you here. And on my right, but not necessarily that for you, is Bernice Lewis, and she's going to be cutting out 15 to 20 minutes early because she got free tickets to Van Morrison, who's playing nearby. Yeah, so that's an excuse I really can't find an argument with.
And I have the person who gave me the free ticket gave me 8 of them. So if any of you want to come tonight to Van Morrison, I have a ticket for you.
I told her I'd fly right over.
I could have given you, except I just got them like 2 hours ago. Come on, Janet, just hop on a plane.
It'll be easy. And we have an international show today. We have guests from all over the U.S., and we will have more. And we have guests from Israel so far, maybe from the UK, but if they're not here yet, they will be. So this is a worldwide event. I love it. So one of the things I forgot to tell my two guests today is that I like to bring up the rear, so I'll need a volunteer to go first and second. Bernice, you want to do it? Is that what the shrug is?
I see Dennis waving his finger. So like I'm going with that. Let's yeah.
So Dennis, tell us a little bit about yourself and play us a song.
I'm Dennis Roger Reed. I currently reside and have for about the last 40 years in San Clemente, California. I've been writing songs for about 50 years. I got about 100 in my BMI catalog, which is not that prolific, I guess. Get old enough and then the averages go down. Well, in these kind of situations, when I have CDs and stuff and a website and all that kind of junk, the worst thing you can do is play, a recent song. So here's the one I wrote last week. Grandpa taught me guitar on his D18. Said you tune it up, black diamond strings. Y'all can't afford a Martin if you have to ask. Well, it costs what it costs when it's built to last. Well, I learned to drive on his old John Deere. He said this tractor'll run for 100 years. Still does all right. You don't go too fast. Well, it costs what it costs when it's built to last. He said me and Grandma, we fight sometimes. love runs steep, but it's worth the climb. You gotta leave old problems in the past. Love costs what it costs when it's built to last. Love costs what it costs when it's built to last.
That was lovely, Dennis. So, Bernice.
That was a great hook line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as long as we're playing new ones, although I didn't write this last week, and I'm going to do the shortest backstory I can for this song. But this, let's see, during COVID, I got asked to play at Cafe Lena in Saratoga Springs, which is the oldest continuous running coffee house in the United States, and it's where Bob Dylan and all those guys got their start. And this gal, Lena Spencer, started it. She's passed along, but the club is still going, and we were asked to play live streams there during COVID, and so the second live stream we did, when we headed out on the road to go there, we got up to the top of the mountain, and then we turned to come down the mountain, and we were in whiteout conditions. I don't know if you Texans and Californians and Israeli know what whiteout conditions are, but like you can't see more than 2 feet in front of you, and you're gripping the wheel, and the snow's just coming down really hard. And when we got to the venue, I had a bit of a panic attack on the way. They said, "Oh, we didn't think you were coming," and I said, "Well, I'm not going home." And I was thinking the whole time that we were driving there that we were going to have to spend like $500 on a very expensive hotel room because it's in Saratoga Springs, which is a really Tony place. And we were going to have to share that expensive hotel room with my husband, my daughter, and her boyfriend, which I didn't really relish the thought of doing that. And they said, you can sleep here. And they pointed to the venue, which had been newly renovated. And they renovated the whole thing. It was gorgeous, except for the stage and the front windows. And the stage was exactly as it had been all the many years that I'd been going there to play and to listen. And since the day that people like Bob Dylan first started coming there. And the windows facing the street were these kind of old lead pane like in a Dickens novel. So that's just the 10 words or less, but this is my new song. And let me just say one other thing, which is that I'm very blessed to spend a lot of time teaching young people, college students, how to write songs. And I'm often asking them about the songs they listen to, and I'm not always impressed with what they bring in. I'm harder to impress these days. Well, it snowed like the Dickens in Saratoga Springs, and I have turned into a crone that must sing. The words are all lost, but the melodies rang familiar. The show was on live stream, you couldn't be there. And Lena, she sat at the top of the stair with her hands in her lap and a pile of gray hair on her shoulders. It takes a lot to laugh, it takes a train to cry, and there ain't no who used to sit and wonder why that boy from Duluth, he spoke for my generation. Tell me who, tell me who, tell me who's your Bob Dylan. People logged on from all over the place. They might as well have been in outer space, and the snow was a blanket that filled every trace and footstep. So I rolled out my bag on the couch by the stage, and I slept at the foot of the music he made, and I dreamt about all of the others who played before me. Tell me who, tell me who, tell me who's your Bob Dylan. Stan Rogers, Steve Goodman, and all of the best. The witty protester, the poet depressed, the ghost of the blues, and a young Joan Baez's soprano. All night they were tuning, making bad jokes, arguing the definition of folk, and we'd slip down the stairs when we needed a toke, 'cause it's legal. Tell me who, tell me who, tell me who's your Bob Dylan. So we tiptoed out when we heard the first plow down those steep stairs that employees use now. We made it home before daylight, somehow safe and sound. Life is a story, a bird on the wing, and I have turned into a crone that must sing as I let go of every last little thing. I still wonder. Tell me who, tell me who, tell me who's your Bob Dylan. Tell me who, tell me who, tell me who's your Bob Dylan. Thanks.
What a great song.
Thank you.
Brand new. You should be proud.
Yeah, I worked on it for a while, but I am. Thanks, Jan.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to mute. And get
Okay.
ready to hear you.
Jan, you're echoing a lot.
I'm echoing. Yeah, we know what the problem is, and there's nothing we can
okay.
do about it.
All right.
Okay, so since everybody else did new songs, I guess I will too. Although I have to say, this is more than 2 weeks old because I've spent the last 2 weeks, maybe 3, either on vacation or at a conference, and writing has not been the first thing on my mind. But here it is anyhow. When I was young, I went to Rome to try to recover, far from home where I could let those memories fade. I'd wake in the morning and walk the streets to the Spanish Steps or the Colosseum or anywhere I could get away. Early one morning when the weather was good, I took a path through the neighborhood that led to a market market at the edge of the Parione. Flowers and fruit and herbs and spice and bread and cheese, pastries and wine and apples from the Campo de Fiori. Stay me with wine, for I'm sick of love's misery. Comfort me with apples from the Campo de Fiori. Restore life's sweetness, heal my heart's grief. Comfort me with apples from the Campo de Fiori. I knew one day the sun would rise and it'd be so bright I'd have to shade my eyes and the clouds would part and reveal the singing Angeli. Until then, I must be content to wait with patience and confidence and apples from the Campo de Fiori. Stay me with wine, for I'm sick of love's misery. Comfort me with apples from the Campo de Fiori. Restore life's sweetness, heal my heart's grief. Comfort me with apples from the Campo de Fiori. Well, juicy and sweet as life has been, I remember the sadness now and then, and long for those apples again. One more bittersweet time, stay me with wine, for I'm sick of love's misery. Comfort me with apples from the Campo de Fiori. Restore life's sweetness, heal my heart's grief. Comfort me with apples from the Campo de Fiori. Comfort me with apples from the Campo de Fiori. Thank you. In some ways,
Wonderful.
that's a very old song. I stole the chorus from Solomon.
But you like to do that sort of thing. Yeah.
So, Dennis, you're up. We'll just keep going round and round.
Well, you stole it from yourself, so you do have to face the fact that you could sue yourself over that as well. You know, attorneys in music, I have some friends that are attorneys that play music. They're very nice people. But most of my involvement with attorneys related to the music business have not been as happy. In the 1990s, on a record label, I was on a record label, and I gave up my publishing to them because that's what you did in those days, for a couple songs. And then a few years later, they went bankrupt, and then the owner died. So any money, which was probably, nickels, but any money coming in just, BMI, it just stopped because there was no publishing company and no record company. So I recently was able to retain the service of an attorney to get those songs back. And at this point, I'll be waiting for BMI's decision, but it seems somewhat likely anyway. So I'm going to play one of those songs. Out here a mile west of nowhere, train just stops once each day. So if you're headed south towards Ashland, guess you best be on your way. Deep in my heart I was hoping that you might change your mind and stay, for that rail coach door slides open and there's nothing left to say. Driving down here to the station, In the distance I saw rain, and I almost had myself believing that it might wash away this pain. And as the raindrops start falling, the 805 drops off the mail. All aboard, conductors calling over the rain on the rail. So hold me close and kiss me, darling. Tell me one last goodbye. On this platform it's still raining, but these are tears in my eyes. Only you can stop this aching, for that whistle starts to wail. Is this the sound of my heart breaking, or just the rain on the rails? Is this the sound of my heart breaking, or just the rain on the rails?
Hola, 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 hola.
Oh, it's my turn, isn't it? Okay, so this is for I'm practicing for these little shows, these shows I have in Israel, and already Ariella and Janet are here, and Phil is hiding in the background because she's tired, and
Bernice, we're thrilled.
I
We're thrilled to have you.
I have to tell you, it's been very hard to stay focused these days because this trip has been planned 3 times and I'm still planning it. So, so Ariella, yes, on the gate, absolutely, and I'll send you details or tell you when I see you. But so this is one of my Jewish songs about being Jewish. By the way, Dennis, that's a really sad story about your songs. You know, it shouldn't happen.
No, I was lucky because I had 2 songs. Another band member had 22 songs.
It's a
But
really
no, that's showbiz.
it's a really messed up system. Anyway, speaking of all of that stuff, of publishing and stuff like that, oh, no wonder it's not working. It's a G. I spent a few years. There we go. Spent a few years making these pilgrimages to Nashville to try and see if I could get my songs cut, you know. And what I found out is that I'm a nice Jewish girl from Boston, and like, no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't be country, even though I live in the Berkshires in western Massachusetts in the mountains where we drink our tap water, we don't lock our doors, we have horses in the neighborhood, we have a farm stand with an honor system within walking distance of where I live. But whenever I would go to Nashville, they would say, "Oh, you poor thing, I don't know how you can live there on the East Coast." Like, it was just, I couldn't explain to them that I lived in the country and they didn't. So this is a little sing-along. If you want to join me, you'd have to mute probably, but you can do it anyway. I went home after I finished making all these pilgrimages to Nashville, and I wrote like a song about who I am, because you can only write about what you know, they say. So this is who I am. I was raised up in the suburbs, took the bus to Hebrew school, cut my teeth at the local mall, that's where I paid my dues. I was born to schmooze, she was born to schmooze. I was born to schmooze, she was born to schmooze. Now, my mama didn't raise no fool. I was born to schmooze, born to schmooze. southern accent. I can't take a lot of sun. I didn't see my first tortilla until I was 21. I was born to snooze. I was born to snooze. Now, my mama didn't raise no fool. I was born to snooze. I was born to snooze. Well, my daddy used to sell used cars, and he never touched a bale of hay. And we ate bagels instead of cornbread, and we really said oy vey. This is where y'all go, oy vey. And I grew up on Elvis and on the Beatles too. But all my granddaddy had to sing was the East European blues. I was born to schmooze. I was born to schmooze. Now, my mama didn't raise no fool. I was born to schmooze. 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 Boy, such a day I've had. Thank you so much.
That was wonderful. Me too. Right about the same time that you were going back and forth to Nashville, I was trying to live in LA. And I had very similar conversations with them. I didn't exactly come from the country, but it was more country than LA. Practically everywhere is more country than LA, except possibly New York. And they were all offering their sympathy for the fact that I had spent so long in Austin. Meanwhile, I was incredibly homesick for Austin. I should do that, but this is one from back then. And yeah, that's a really sad story, and I hope it turns out well for you. I know so many people who were in that or similar positions, including one whose song turned into a major hit, and he had no access to it because he did what they said he should do. When those gray skies seem to be falling in, when the hard times get harder and the good times grow thin, don't let that old rocky road rock you off of your feet. One day you'll be dancing down easy street. You gotta hold on, 'cause one day you'll have it all. If you hold on, one day you'll be dancing down easy street. Too many times your tears rolled by, even down too many roads paved with too many lies and promises dripping cold, honey sweet. One day you'd be dancing down easy street. You gotta hold
really great song.
Thank you. Can I tell a little story about it? When I
I'll
got
even-
back to Austin, my two friends, Chris and David, had finally built their house in the country that they'd been talking about for 7 centuries or so. And I went to see it, and it was gorgeous. It was so perfect. It brought tears to my eyes. And they had this driveway, and for the first year or so that they lived in this house, every time it rained, the driveways, I mean, the land around here is loaded with lime, and it has this stuff that's rock-like called caliche. But when it rains, the caliche kind of slithers down the hillsides and stuff like that. And so their driveway was impossible to get down every time it rained, so they paved it. And then the city of Dripping Springs, which they were then just outside of and now are well within, came around and, well, they annexed their neighborhood and came around and named all those paved driveways. And their driveway was named Easy Street. And Chris tells me that their street sign is stolen about twice a month. So that's the story.
Well, that helped me change my mind about what I was going to play now.
Oh,
Perhaps for the best. So I was going up the 99 a number of years ago, and I saw the off-ramp for Panama Lane, and I thought, now that's a song name, Panama Lane. And I played around, was playing at the High Sierra Festival up in Long Barn, California. And it was a great festival, and I played with it, and then drove by there on the way home. And then my wife, who used to live in Clovis, outside of Fresno, decided she was going to show me where she lived. So we got lost for about 3 hours. She never found out where she never could find where she used to live. But I went through a couple little farming communities and helped me finish the song. Out on the outskirts where they pay for rain, there's one shady spot they call Panama Lane. Eucalyptus stand 100 feet high, over ramshackle cottages side by side. Broken down trucks in most of the yards. The grass give up, had to work too hard. But the weeds still show through the crack in the street, and the dust blows easy round and round your feet. Well, it's ashes to ashes, and it's day to day. You can dream what you want, but you won't get away. Empty pockets or minimum wage, you'll never get rich down on Panama Lane. Well, I fell in love with the girl from there. She got deep brown eyes and raven hair. She said, you were raised up on Leland in Maine. You'll never understand the folks on Panama Lane. You know, she's dead right, I'm not her kind, but I lie awake at night with her on my mind. The winds kick up and the curtains blow, and I ache inside 'cause I want her so. So I squirrel my paycheck just to take her away. You can't imagine my surprise when she wants to stay. She says, some things will never change, and I want to live my life here on Panama Lane. Well, it's just a shanty, but the roof don't leak, and the rent's not due for a couple of weeks. I know some folks that think it's strange, this life we lead here on Panama Lane. Panama Lane, Panama Lane.
Catchy. So, I've had a lot of travel lately, and one of the things I got to do this summer is I went to visit a friend in the UK just for a few days, someone I'd met 20 years ago in New Zealand that I hadn't seen in those 20 years. And it's a song I wrote about her and her friend. We were all traveling together. At first we weren't traveling together, we just kept running into each other everywhere we went. My husband, my 3-year-old daughter, and I. And then finally we just thought, well, this is crazy, we should just travel together. So this is a song about my friends Ruth and Amy, which was really great to play it for Ruth and her husband and her family in England 20 years after I wrote it, you know. We almost lost Ruth to that gypsy that she met in Curio Bay. But when push comes to shove, that gypsy couldn't love, so we packed up and went on our way, finishing each other's sentences since we were barely 13. Two British girls traveling the world with college degrees and pale skinny knees. We've seen Orion upside down, been alone at twilight on the streets of Cape Town, drove the Nullarbor for miles and miles just to watch the Southern Cross roll by. And I never sang like I sang that night for Ruth and Amy. If there had been two gypsies, we might have put down some roots. Amy said with a grin, Cupid's worn himself thin trying to find 2 arrows to shoot. One day we'll have families, gardens in the British rain, 2 kids apiece, chickens and geese, mom down the street. Memories so sweet, we've seen Orion upside down, been alone at twilight on the streets of Cape Town, drove the Nullarbor for miles and miles just to watch the Southern Cross roll by. And I never sang like I sang that night for Ruth and Amy. These days when my voice gets caught up in my throat, I know all the words, but I can't sing a note. Think of those girls traveling the world, out on that beach, just out of reach. We've seen Orion upside down, been alone at twilight on the streets of Cape Town, drove the Nullarbor for miles and miles just to watch the Southern Cross roll by. I never sang like I sang that night for Ruth and Amy. Ooh.
Oh.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you. Thanks. I played that for you, David, because I can see you're from the UK.
Yes.
I love you.
Thank you.
I love you.
So, about traveling. I was on a tourlet. I have a love-hate relationship with touring. I like being in new places, and I actually like going to new places, but sometimes the trip gets kind of grueling, and I don't like that. Especially if you fly. Oh my God. So I was driving from Grand Junction, Colorado to a house concert in Salt Lake City. And they told me, get off 70 and go up over the mountain. But when I got to where the turnoff to go up over the mountain was, there was a storm going on at the top of that mountain. I could see it from where I was. And I had no desire at all to go drive into a storm. So I just stayed on 70 to get to the interstate that goes up to 15. And I was so glad I did, because the scenery in southern Utah is heart-stopping. And I went through a couple of places like that, and then I thought, I got to take a picture for Andy because he wasn't there. I was driving by myself. And so I stopped and I got out of the car and took my little phone and picked it up to show him these gorgeous rock formations. And there I am with my little phone in my little hand. And I thought, shit, he's not going to get it from this. So I wrote him a song instead. This is the song. And what you're hearing in the background is the car on the pavement. I don't know what that was. Maybe a rock formation. Let me take you west. Fill your eyes with beauty. I could show you pictures, but they'd just be small and puny. And you would not feel satisfied, no. You would not feel blessed, like if you saw it with your own eyes. So let me take you west. Let me take you west to timeless earthly majesty in ever-changing robes and jewels left here by the sea. 'Cause you will hear me speak of it, and I will seem obsessed. So there is only one solution. Let me take you west. Let me take you west among the silent brooding canyons and the shouts of pointed rocky spires reaching for the heavens. Spend a day or spend a lifetime, whatever you suggest. Let me show you how I love you. Let me take you west. Imagine this at sunset. Let me take you west.
I love that.
Thank you. I did finally get to take him.
Yeah.
Oh, and I wanted to say thanks. Thank you for all the people who have visited the tip jar. It's much appreciated. Especially thank you to those who put in something that could be divided by 3, which is what we're going to do with it. I'm a math whiz.
Well, that's a great segue into this song. But the songs have been so good. I had a amusingly frustrating morning where just about nothing worked. You know, like, why do we have 6 Phillips screwdrivers and not one standard head screwdriver? What who left the door? Oh, I did. At any rate, my mood has improved greatly. So this song started out as my so-called career, and it got changed. This isn't exactly about me, but along with my, huge fame and fortune doing concerts and touring and traveling, I play any place a hay bale gets knocked off a truck, basically. A lot of bars, restaurants, chili cook-offs, Chinese restaurants on St. Patrick's Day. And that would actually probably be enough. I like doing all this kind of stuff and losing money in Europe and everything, but this is from the guy that this is enough for. They're mopping the floors. I'm tearing down the PA. The tip jar got broken. It was empty anyway. Waiting for the owner to get off of the phone. We wanna get paid. It's time to go home. Though the place is empty now, only an hour ago. The dance floor was shaking with our rock and roll. If we got paid any less, we'd be playing for free. Still come Saturday night, no place I'd rather be. Since I was a kid, my profession was planned. I dreamed about the music, about playing in a band. A little magic in the music, that's what you wanna hear. They go hand in hand in my perfect career. Never had a hit record, never been on TV. Played in bars like this with guys like me. No performance at Carnegie Hall tonight. But driving home now, it sure feels right. Since I was a kid, my profession was planned. I dreamed about the music, about playing in a band. Little magic in the music, that's what you wanna hear. They go hand in hand in my perfect career. In my perfect career.
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you.
That's great. My perfect career. So I'm torn between playing one that to follow up what you just did, Dennis, sort of follow up what Jan just talked about with travel. So maybe I'll do this one since it's like kind of the version of similar to what you did, only my version, because I've never really had a chance to be in a rock band, and because there weren't as many spaces in rock bands for females when I was coming up, as there are. It's gotten better, and I've gotten older. So this is my ode to that, to wishing I could have played those bars on Saturday nights with the boys. Yeah, I always got straight A's, and no, I know this isn't a phase. I dated boys that were always very nice. After college 4.0, there wasn't anywhere I couldn't go. I followed my professor's good advice. So I'm hoping that you'll understand. I wanna be in the band. I wanna be in the band. I wanna be in the band. I just wanna be in the band. Chords or a jazz progression after midnight recording session. Anywhere that you think I might fit. Katy Perry or Madonna, heavy metal if you wanna. You could put me in behind the kit. I'll play Freebird, Freebird on demand. Wanna be in the band. Wanna be in the band. I wanna be in the band. I just wanna be in the band. If you ask me really nicely, I might sleep with you. Dye my hair, shave my legs, just don't make me get a tattoo. Country music as long as it's Reba, Harmony, whore, or pampered diva. Strauss, Stravinsky, Beethoven, or Bach. Cape Breton fiddle music, why find it when you can lose it? Dubstep, punk, or even classic rock. It's my new retirement plan. I wanna be in the band. I wanna be in the band. I wanna be in the band. I just wanna be in the band. I wanna be in the band. I just wanna be in the band.
Wow, 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 wow.
You still can,
I don't think I have the kind of energy anymore it takes to deal with the equipment.
Right?
And the places you have to play. Maybe a band. I don't know about the rock and roll band,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think those days are kind of over.
I have said quite a few times now that if I ever get rich doing this, I don't need sidemen. What I need is a roadie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone to drive. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So, God, there's so many ways I could go from what you just said. But I think I'm going to go back to something you did earlier, which was kind of a boogie song, um, and do this one. I have no other songs like this one. My daughter came out while I was writing it and she said, "What is that?" And I said, "I don't know, but here it is." Where are all the Gretas and Marlenas? And all the Mae Wests, where are they? No one tells the boys, come up and see me sometime. That's all out of style nowadays. But I still long for old-time steamy romance and satin gowns and stockings with seams and men that wear trench coats and fedora hats. I wish they'd bring that all back, 'cause I want to be a femme fatale. I want to be a vamp. I want to whistle like Macaw and have 'em all eating from my hand. They put me on a pedestal, competing for my glance. I want to be a femme fatale. I want to be a vamp. Though I am a liberated woman, sometimes I'd prefer to be a tease. And when I see those starlets with eyes come hither soft, I could pull that off, it seems to me. See? And men would buy me clothes and bring me jewelry and open doors and pull me out a seat and then stand by politely until I'd sit, enjoy my sparkling wit, a little risque repartee with a femme fatale. I want to be a vamp. I want to be the party doll that upsets all their other plans. I know it isn't fashionable, but it's so elegant. I want to be a femme fatale. I want to be a vamp. Dietrich and Davis, they had it made. Mansfield and Monroe, hey, where'd they all go? Well, the women we admire now in the movies are all doctors and lawyers and chiefs. They don't flutter their lashes or swing their hips. They don't pout their lips or sit on anyone's knee. And if they're in some older profession, they've all been reformed by Act 3. They've given up their cigarettes and champagne. I guess we've come a long way, but I sure miss the day of femme fatale. I want to be a vamp. I want to give the boys the eye and call some guy my honey lamb. I'd have 'em all in a spell. I'd have 'em in a trance. If I was a femme fatale, I would be sensational. I want to be a vamp. Thank you.
Don't we all?
Yeah, born too late.
Yeah.
Oh, the time has come for me to ask this question, this burning question. Dennis, where are you going to be next, and where can people find you online?
Well, I'm happy to say where I'll be next is already sold out because it's a benefit for a good cause, I think, rather than me. I have a standing engagement with a band called Suitcase Johnny at a wine bar in San Clemente, California called Barnoa on the third Saturday of every month. And I also play on a semi-regular basis in the mountain community of Idyllwild at 5,800 feet in the San Jacinto Mountains at a place there called Middle Ridge Winery with a band called the Frozen Burrito Brothers. And I have a website,
Yeah.
DennisRogerReed.com, which has a calendar that I remember to update every once in a while. And I have a YouTube page that I never update, and a Facebook page that I've never actually been on, but it's supposed to be very good. I want to thank Scotty for letting me know that I forgot to plug my guitar in on the last song.
That's cool.
Well, it
Well,
projects-
before you go on, Bernice, same questions. Where are you going to be next? And where can I find you online?
Yeah, well, I think I've already made a big deal out of the fact that next I'm going to be in Israel. So I'll be in, yeah, look at Phil's waving. So I'll be at the Jerusalem Folk Club on the 13th and with Ariella on the 14th in Tel Aviv, and then up in Carmiel with Larry Rosenberg on the 19th. And then when I come back,
Larry Rosen.
yeah, I've got a library show here and two library shows here. The best thing to do is check. I remembered to update my website the other day. I'm just like you. I just always forget, but it's updated. And also the best thing to do is just go to bernicelewis.com and sign up for my newsletters, which I promise never ever to share your information with anyone. And when you get one, if you hit reply, you get me. I try to answer everybody, don't I, Richard? I try to answer everybody that writes to me, just because, I'm so thrilled to have fans of any kind. So yeah, that's where I'll be. Yeah. And then this winter, I'm going to actually spend a chunk of time out west in the desert Southwest in Arizona, California, New Mexico. So if there are any house concerts out there that I can grab, just private message me because I'm definitely interested in playing, Yeah. So thanks.
Great.
Great. Okay.
Sure. So now, Rich, goodness, Dennis, now it's your turn.
I probably should mention too that I hang around with a lot of miscreants and people of dubious backgrounds at a place called the Fiddler's Crossing open mic on Wednesday nights from 7:30 to 9:30, and I think they have a Facebook page that talks about that. It's a lot of incredibly good artists and me. Well, I've got my guitar on this time for whatever good that does. Here's a song that has an element of humor. It was a marriage of convenience down at the Circle K. Honeymoon in the backseat of my old Chevrolet. In the heat of the moment, I never really thought it through. If I knew what I was doing, I wouldn't be doing it with you. If I knew what I was doing, I wouldn't be here now, wearing a tarnished wedding ring and wondering how I'd be somewhere being happy instead of here being blue. If I knew what I was doing, I wouldn't be doing it with you. Some marriages are made in heaven, ours was not from there. Somewhere's a whole lot hotter with sulfur in the air. Still it don't take long until the embers cool. If I knew what I was doing, I wouldn't be doing it with you. If I knew what I was doing, I wouldn't be here now, wearing a tarnished wedding ring and wondering how I'd be somewhere being happy instead of here being blue. If I knew what I was doing, I wouldn't be doing it with you. If I knew what I was doing, I wouldn't be doing it with you. Thank you.
Well, that's a hit. So this is the other one that I was thinking about doing before that I couldn't decide. And the one time I played with Jan live, it was literally February of 2020, less than a month before quarantine started. And I screwed up, which I've been doing more and more lately, electronically, and missed some kind of a missive from the airline that that my flight had been that changed to a much earlier flight. Did you know that when I showed up at the airport, I had to wait something like 14 hours in the airport to get out? So when you were talking about airports, I thought, yeah, no, I know. So this is my song about airports that I just started working on a recording of it, and about flying. They're throwing bombs and rockets way out to the east, while here at home we choose between our safety and our peace. Morning turns to afternoon. Goodbye turns to lonely soon. A suitcase packed, a list of things to do. Because life speeds up and gets faster and faster, and love turns into enduring disaster, and time is surely the sternest master of all. When you're alone, with dozens and dozens of airports and their cousins. Are you living for the moment that we line up single file for the password and permission and the frequent flyer mile? Is everything that's really real made of polished chrome and steel? Do you hunger for the window or the aisle? Because life speeds up and gets faster and faster, and love turns into enduring disaster, and time is surely the sternest master of all. When you're in Rome, dozens and dozens of airports and their cousins. All the divas in Nashville, all the stars in LA, all the pundits and poets that still have stuff to say, they're all snoring beside me as we make our way to the east and the west of our dreams. When you finally lift your head up from your techno fantasy and you figure out there's no such thing as immortality, will you teach your children to consume, to caffeinate and shoot the moon? Will you tell them how it was supposed to be? Because life speeds up and gets faster and faster, and love turns into enduring disaster, and time is surely the sternest master of all. You're heading home with dozens and dozens of airports and their cousins. Thanks, you guys.
I don't think that I'd heard that you had spent 14 hours in that airport.
Yeah, I went in at 10 in the morning and I didn't get out until something like, I don't know, midnight.
Wow.
It was bad.
And I also didn't remember that that was the last before the pandemic.
That was my last tour before the pandemic.
Yeah. We were in at the South Florida Folk Festival.
Yeah,
Yeah, which was great fun.
it was great fun, and the whole trip was great. But like, that was,
Yeah.
getting home was hell.
There's always one flight. Um, so, about me, first of all, the next show I'm doing is next Sunday at Kick Butt Coffee here in Austin. It's called Kick Butt because the guy who owns it also owns a martial arts studio, which I think is just charming. And it's right next door. So if you feel like after the music you want to go kick some butt, you can do it right next door. And then after that, the next one of the Any Sunday shows is going to be Dan Hazlett and Daniel Bowling. So I will be a Dan sandwich. And that should be great fun. They're both wonderful songwriters. Dan Hazlett has a new album out, and Dan Bowling never fails to be fascinating, so you should be here. So this was one of my more positive. I mean, I've got hundreds. I've got pockets full of airline and airplane stories and airport stories, but this is one of the more positive ones. We were doing an exercise we like to call 14 songs in 14 days, and I had just gotten on this plane. This was the very first one, and it was the last 3 days, but the last 3 days were a weekend, and I was going to New York. And there was no way to change the combination of those two items. So I sat on the plane with my notebook in my lap, and the tyranny of the blank page hit fairly hard. And I thought, okay, what do I do about this? And then the woman next to me spoke. And this is what happened. She says flying is impossible. I sure hope she's wrong, 'cause we're on an airplane flying to New York City. And I'm writing this in shorthand so she cannot read this song about our conversation while flying to New York City. She says not all that long ago people walked where they were going. No one thought about flying to New York City. And people didn't move about as if they were leaves blowing in the wind, let alone flying to New York City. I say, I guess that makes this some kind of miracle, that we still get on planes. She says, yes, 'cause flying is impossible, but it's still possible for us to have faith. This song may seem like fantasy. What can you expect? After all, we're flying to New York City. And I'm chatting with a stranger I just met, and it's all about miracles and faith and flying. Thank you. So Dennis.
Okay. I've got my guitar plugged in. Bernice, if you could
Oh,
mute,
yeah,
we'll go
sorry.
over the echo. Or I can do an Elvis medley. So, guitar's on, capo's not on. I'm much better set for this one. Well, she's a high-tone honey from way down south. Words seem to melt right out of her mouth. She's got this way of talking, whoa, it drives me wild. Everything she says is southern fried, but soft like a Dixie lullaby. She's got this way of talking, whoa, it drives me wild. I'm her huckleberry, she'll never leave behind. That vocabulary from down below the Mason-Dixon line. With that vocabulary, every little lie rings true. Still, I'm her huckleberry from Baltimore to Baton Rouge. Well, I can't resist that southern drawl, the way she spends my money and says you all. She's got this way of talking, whoa, it drives me wild. So every time I'm feeling down in the mouth, I book myself a ticket, headed south. She's got this way of talking, whoa, it drives me wild. Well, she's got this way of talking, you know it drives me wild. Thank you.
Ooh. Okay, here I am. So, it's the Southern accent set. I don't know when I wrote this song, but at the Kerrville Folk Festival this year, my friend Javier, who's the guy who he always brings a teepee and camps for the whole 18 days, and Javier does this thing called Fajita Thursday, where the second Thursday of the festival, he feeds the entire campground, like 1,000 people. He makes fajitas for everyone, which is an amazing thing. And this is a song I wrote a long time ago, and he's been bugging me to relearn it and perform it. And this year, it got to the point where he went home, got a CD with this song on it, because I didn't even remember it, and said, guard this with your life and relearn this song and play it for me. So it's called Texas Twang, and it's about exactly about the same thing as your song, Dennis. Except, of course, that I don't live in Texas, so all my songs about Texas have cold weather in them. And I can see that my friends in Israel are all wearing sundresses, so I should probably be getting ready for hot weather, right? Yep, everybody's nodding. Uptown, downtown, northeast wind, 20 below at my back again. White snow, gray sky, counting every concrete mile. Till I can find my way to your warmer places, find the smiles on your sunlit faces, till you talk me to sleep with your Texas twang. Texas twang, your Texas twang. You just plug it in my ear and turn on that sweet old thing. Don't have to run your fingers through my hair. Don't have to tell me you're always gonna care. You just talk me to sleep with your Texas twang. Tolling seatbelts, arrival times, packing it up and moving down the line. Phone calls, parties, listening to your latest tunes. the warmer weather makes it so much easier to get it together till you talk me to sleep with your Texas twang. Texas twang. Your Texas twang. You just plug it in my ear and turn on that sweet old thing. Don't have to run your fingers through my hair. Don't have to tell me you're always gonna care. You just talk me to sleep with your Texas twang. You just talk me to sleep with your Texas twang.
Yeah. I gotta say, I didn't start saying y'all until I moved to California because I was so homesick.
Yeah.
I should do that. This is a little bit of Jan history. Ouch. Bernice,
Yeah.
can you mute, please? Yeah. When I left New York City, I thought walls and lights were pretty, and wide open space, well, that was Central Park. I pulled into Austin, thought soon I would be leaving, but a little bit of Texas got stuck here in my heart. Well, the sky's so big it scared me, but the people were so friendly. I kept putting off the date when I would depart for that west horizon, never realizing the longer that I waited, the more leaving would be hard. When I finally hit the road on Highway 10, I said, so long, Austin, I won't be back again. But I missed Texas every day and every night. I missed Texas, even things I didn't like. I missed Texas, it was tearing me apart, 'cause a little bit of Texas was stuck here in my heart. So there I am in LA, and I'm thinking I have it made. But every now and then my dreams would fall apart, and all the shoulders I could cry on were in some distant time zone. So I would cry all by myself for the breaking of my heart. Aw. Now I smile and shake my head and say, how silly can you get? What could I have been thinking to be wandering that far? And the man who walks beside me, I came back so he could find me, and we're both firmly wed to the heart of the Lone Star. When I finally hit the road on Highway 10, I said, make room, Austin, I'm coming home again, 'cause I missed Texas every day and every night. I missed Texas, even things I still don't like. I missed Texas, it was tearing me apart, 'cause a little bit of Texas was stuck here in my heart. Yes, I missed Texas, and I will never more depart. This may not be true any longer, but a little bit of Texas, right out of the middle, it's stuck here in my heart. Yeehaw.
It's funny that, people write a lot of songs about Texas. Even I have a bunch of them, and I have never written anything about Massachusetts.
Huh. Well, I wrote a bunch of sad songs about LA.
Yeah.
I think it's funny what you said about y'all. My family's from the Ozarks, from Arkansas side of the Ozarks, and I don't remember my father ever saying "well doggies" until after the Beverly Hillbillies was on the air and so popular. And like most people, I spent my entire youth trying not to have an accent, even though I'd never been to Arkansas. I was surrounded by Arkansonians. And as you probably know, Arkansonians don't have a lot of respect for Texans. My dad said, well, we had some family that moved to Texas, but we don't talk about them. Anyway, this song smells like Texas to me. I took down all the mirrors so I don't have to face the fact you're slipping away more every day, and one day you won't be back. Miles and miles between us, and nothing I can do. Just this sad of lonesome, so close to losing you. Just this sad of lonesome, there's a place that I call home, not too far from heartache, where a man can be alone. Sometimes I get lost like lovers often do. Just this side of lonesome, so close to losing you. Not too far from heartache, the teardrops always start. Day to day is the only way to ease this aching heart. Waiting for the courage to admit that love is through. Just this side of lonesome, so close to losing you. Just this side of lonesome, there's a place that I call home, not too far from heartache, where a man can be alone. Sometimes I get lost like lovers often do. Just this side of lonesome, so close to losing you. Just this side of lonesome, so close to losing you. Thank you.
That was beautiful. So I'm noticing that this is for both of you, that people who leave Austin are tending to go in one of two directions. One of them is to Arkansas. Like a bunch of musicians are moving to Arkansas. So that could be the new cool hip place. I don't know.
Around the Fayetteville
Yeah.
area. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna bug out after this song because I did double book myself. But I want to thank Jan and Dennis for hanging out with me, and Jan for doing all this work. I think I was on one of the very first ones at the
You
top
were?
end of quarantine. So it's nice to be able to come back, and it's amazing that you've kept it going.
Keeps anxiety on the other side of the door.
There's a lot to be said for that. I mean, all that electronics and being online always actually increased my anxiety. But when someone else is taking care of it, it's really great. So thank you for that.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, and so I want to play this one because I'm excited about my trip this week. I mean, it's such a big deal to go overseas, you know? Especially now, you know, COVID's changed everything. And I as much as I'd wanted to go to Israel all my life, I certainly would not have booked it any time now. But this is a song about the person who hooked me into going on this trip. Her name is Mercy Aiken, and she called me up at the top end of quarantine and said, I'm running a trip to the Holy Land, an all-women's trip. Did you want to come? And I'm going to make all the arrangements. And I said, oh my God, that's exactly what I want somebody to do. So I signed on and I bought a plane ticket. And now, a year and a half later, I'm making all the arrangements. But Mercy's an amazing person. She's a Christian, but she grew up in the bottom of the Grand Canyon, and I've known her since she was 8 or 10 years old, and she's just a beautiful soul who wants to make peace and happiness in the world. So I could talk about her for hours, and I might at some point, but I'm just going to play the song now and say thanks to you guys for having me and for sticking around. I went out to find Mercy on her ranch up in the hills. She had a lot of choices. She chose to do God's will. Her letters shone light on the dark poetry written on rock as jaded as me. Growing up in the canyon, she studied the saints. A mother named Mary, a father who paints, surrounded by innocent spaces out west. She fell in love with Jesus. Now she tends to his transgressed. If the loss of perspective leaves you insane with a desperate need to be born again, out on the road to justice or peace, I hope you find mercy. Growing up in the canyon, she studied the saints. A mother named Mary, a father who paints, surrounded by innocence. A mother named, coming from the heat. Oh, I did that verse, didn't I? She'd sit by the dusty trails and greet passers-by. A skinny kid, a friendly smile, and Arizona sky. Coming from the heat to our lemonade stand. Come and watch my little brother catch a fish with his hands. If the loss of perspective leaves you insane with a desperate need to be born again, out on the road to justice or peace, I hope you find mercy. She knows that the desert longs for the rain. She knows that sometimes you just need to complain. Her door's always open, don't be scared to be alone. She's got a lot of work to do. You may not find her home. If the loss of perspective leaves you insane with a desperate need to be born again, out on the road to justice or peace, mercy. Hope you find mercy. Thank you all so much. Thanks for having me, Jan. Thanks. Nice to meet you, Dennis. I'm going to log off. I haven't read every comment sent to me, so you might want to email them to me. I'll put my email in the comments, and it's also how you can join my mailing list. And thanks so much, Jan.
It's my pleasure, Bernice.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you all soon, one way or another.
Okay.
And
Have a safe drive
drive the
and a great trip.
I'm strapping myself in.
the dawn of the dawn.
Speaking of email addresses, if you'd like to be on the list for this show and you're not already, it's been wonderful and it just keeps getting better and better. So I just keep doing it because that's what there is to do. So if you'd like to be aware of who's going to be on, just put your email in the chat and I will make sure you get put on. I won't share your information with anyone, and I promise you won't get spammed beyond a few welcome emails and once a month a newsletter, which is not spam really. And Dennis and I will be sharing the next 20 minutes. So I hope that's fine with you, Dennis. Let's see. My goodness. I'm having a bit of inanimate object issues today. You know, when the furniture all lines up in the middle of the room to trip you as you go. That kind of thing. This is my ode to every dive bar and roadside tavern in Texas, because there was one at some point that was around the curve on the way to Houston, and I kept looking at it thinking I ought to go in there and find out what that's all about. And then one day when I drove by there, it was entirely gone. But I already knew what it looked like inside because I've been in countless. So at the Jezebel Cafe and Dance Hall, Blondie presides at the bar, and the regulars line up before the doors open at 7. There's a raised wooden stage in one corner, and the band drifts in around 9. And they drink up their brews and finally go on at 11. And what they lack in skill, they make up in enthusiasm. And the ladies imagine they're the belles of the ball, on the arm of Prince Charming at the Jezebel Cafe and Dance Hall. At the Jezebel Cafe and Dance Hall, tall tales and stories abound, like how someone pulled a catfish from the brazos as big as a cow, really, a cow. And all their granddads built the first church in the county. All of them go every Sunday, except for the ones who grin and swear that they're in church right now. And what they lack in veracity, they make up in enthusiasm. And the ladies imagine they're heroes about 7 feet tall. at the Jezebel Cafe and Dance Hall. It's not far from civilization, but it's not too close either. Between Brenham and College Station, about a mile from the river. And they know that developer's coming, and they'll have to move over sometime soon. But they say they'll hang on till the Jezzy is gone. And at the Jezebel Cafe and Dance Hall, when the lights come up on the decor, it's all sawdust and 2x4s, but the patrons don't care, 'cause it's good old days that they come for, a fragment of fast fading time. So tomorrow at 7 again, they'll all line up right here. And what they lack in variety, they make up in enthusiasm. So they'll keep on attending till they hear that last call. They'll be singing and dancing, talking and smoking, playing pool and foosball, and laughing and joking at the Jezebel Cafe, the Jezebel Cafe and Dance Hall. You've been there too, huh? So, Dennis.
Let's rock. Oh, what a tango web you weave. Why do you stay when you couldn't leave? You gotta go. Then honey, just go. But keep it yourself now, 'cause I don't wanna know. I don't wanna know where you be tonight. I don't wanna know, wrong or right. They say the truth will set you free. I'm here to say I disagree. You gotta go. Then honey, just go. But keep it to yourself now, 'cause I don't wanna know. I don't wanna know where you be tonight. I don't wanna know, wrong or right. Thank you.
I know it was entirely accidental that you did that right. I love it when people do stuff like that with their songs. So, let's see, what to do. People leaving. Yeah. I had a call from a friend at one point that told me this story about himself and a woman that I knew. And I had no idea that this was going on until he told me. And now it was years later, and that was part of the story, that he'd been gaga in love with this woman, and she cared little, if any. But here it is, like decades later, and he still thinks about her every once in a while. And, you know, he was kind of trying to make sense of that fact. And as he was speaking, I realized, first of all, that I had the same story, and secondly, that I knew others who had that same story. And my conclusion was, oh my God, everybody has this story, which may or may not be true, but it was good for a song about my story. Every now and then I dream of you again, time to time. Why, I'll never know. It was so long ago. You were mine. Like a treasure lost, like a secret told, a glitter in the dust, a glow among the coals, a shiver of regret. Every now and then I dream of you again. Like a hurricane, you struck and changed everything I thought I knew. You were my earth and sky, you filled my day and night. I believed in you. Passionate and brief, our tempest of a song, melody so sweet, harmony so wrong. Such was our duet. But every now and then I hum that tune again. You ran away, you didn't even say goodbye. Were you afraid? You know, I used to pray your lie would come true. And somehow you'd love me too. But yes, I did move on after you had gone. I was done grieving. And I found again a lover and a friend I could believe in. Ah, but autumn-colored hair, a pair of moody eyes, a tilted smile will make me look twice at someone I've never met. Every now and then, every now and then, yes, every now and then I dream of you again. Thank you. So, Dennis, this is probably our last round.
I'll treat it appropriately. I do okay when the morning's bright, a brand new day forgives the night when dusk is due and daylight fades as the sun goes down. I call your name. Pain and heartache, yes, I've known some. That's another side of lonesome. You don't call that love, where I come from. Just another side of lonesome. There's two sides to every story. Seems like someone comes up sorry when it comes to love. I guess it's the same as the sun goes down. I call your name. Pain and heartache, yes, I've known some. That's another side of lonesome. You don't call that love where I come from. Just another side of lonesome. You say you know about love. It's a game no one ever wins. Just when you think misery's over, the tears start falling again. Pain and heartache, yes, I've known some. That's another side of lonesome. You don't call that love where I come from. Just another side of lonesome. Just another side of lonesome.
All right. Dennis
Thank you.
Roger Reed. And you can find him at dennisrogerreed.com.
Jan, thank you so much. I've had a great time, and you've changed my outlook on the day at 119%.
That's great. I aim to please. We've been talking about this week, so I'm going to play you a song from that conversation. You'll know what the conversation was almost immediately. An old friend stopped by the other day to open up the closets of the past so skeletons could dance from their hiding place, 'cause change is either here or closing fast. And we walked dense forests of memory, knowing past today we didn't then. Listen to the soft and minor melodies and sang our songs to absent friends. Perhaps they've received their heart's desires, where time's less than a shadow on the wall. And now that they have met the great simplifier, I hope that love's the only memory they recall. And it's funny how we knew when we were children that love has no beginning and no end. And funny how we'll seem to have forgotten until we speak of absent friends. I so love those dreams we shared together. I so love our travels on the earth. Perhaps the dreams and travels last forever, as birth and life and death and then rebirth. So maybe one day we'll be reunited. Who knows what the universe intends? So raise your glass to absent friends. Thank you. It's been a pleasure to play for you and with you, Dennis, and with Bernice, who I'm hoping is at least halfway to Van Morrison concert. Um, and so our next online show, the next Any Sunday show, will be on September 18th. And if you're in Austin, the next one of the thing is, I was running one of these kind of shows at Kick Butt Coffee, and it was on the second Sunday of each month, and then the pandemic hit. And it took me about 30 seconds to figure out that I was not locked into second Sunday, hence the name, Any Sunday Songwriters. And about another 30 seconds to realize that I could invite people from anywhere. And so here y'all are. And Dennis, you're in Arizona? You're muted.
I'm both muted and in California, in San Clemente, California.
That's right. So the Fiddler's
Crossing is from a venue which has since closed because of the pandemic, up in Tehachapi, California. But the same thing, we have folks from the East Coast, from all over. People that like to stay up much later, since it's 7:30 to 9. That's a late night for me if I was on the East Coast, but some folks do it.
Except for the obvious, this pandemic was a way of hitting pause that didn't turn out that badly in some areas. So anyway, thank you all for coming. I hope you'll leave me your email address so I can let you know when to come back. And it's lovely to see you all. Thanks for being here.
Thanks again, Jan.
Well, Ariela's probably already gone to bed. I was going to say, can we all uncloak to say goodbye, but she's the only one cloaked. Anyway, good night.